Now I come to a very important issue that really have to really understand clearly. It's the type of research and innovation activities that will be supported through this call for proposal. Indeed, this call is open for proposal referring to a broad range of project type from basic research to innovation. And of course, the combination of different type of research approaches with one project with, for instance, differentiation at the work package level is possible as long as involving funding agency eligibility rules are fulfilled, since, as you may have noticed if you have read carefully the call text, not all agencies can fund research and innovation activities. Some agencies can fund only research activities, others can fund only innovation, and some are in between and can fund both research and innovation. So you really have to look very carefully at that and look if the funding agency in your country can support the type of research or innovation activity that you would like to consider into your proposal. For us, research and innovation is seen as a continuum and not, of course, not totally disconnected activities, and most projects will probably contain both types of activities. But it is clear that for the purpose, the expected impact at the end of the project, the level of involvement and role of stakeholders, that are companies, city, practitioners, and users, representatives, and so on, in a project, it really depends on the positioning with respect to research and innovation activities. And actually, the assessment procedure of the proposal is built to take into account this difference into the characteristic, the goals, the expectation of the project, if it's more dedicated to research or if it is more dedicated to innovation. So even if all research and innovation proposal will be evaluated within the same set of criteria, you will see that some sub-criteria will differ. You have to look carefully about that in the call text on section 4.2. And actually, we also consider that the relative weighting between academic expertise and a more practical expertise will be adjusted with respect to the kind of project. So, this means that we ask you to choose the most adequate pathway for your proposal. We have defined two pathways, one more oriented toward research, one more oriented toward innovation activities. So we ask you to choose, to ask yourself and your partners, what is the main purpose, the main aim and objective of my project, what I would like to achieve at the end of the project in terms of deliverable, of impact and so on. And then after that, choose what is for you the most adequate pathway for this proposal. So the next slide now, I would like to remind you what we expect globally for the projects that we'd like to support within this RLED call for proposal. So projects I expect to take a transdisciplinary and a co-creative approach with a strong stakeholder or practitioner participation already from the start. It is very important to involve end users, stakeholder, practitioners in the large sense, even in research projects that will be submitted to the research pathway, even if they are not included as full partners into the consortium. So it's important to consider this point. You may also consider to associate this kind of partner not as a full partner, this means not as a funded partner, but they could be also partners that are associated through, for instance, a steering committee that will give regularly advice to your project, or other schemes that you can also imagine that are the most suitable for your project. Project, of course, since this is a transnational call for proposal, they should support collaboration, and they should also demonstrate what is the transnational benefit of such kind of project. Research or innovation activities should be based on actual urban mobility challenges with results that lead to new approaches, tools, instruments, insight, and knowledge. So you can consider many types of impact, but you really have to define what you expect in terms of impacts of your project at the end of the project and after the end of the project. And you have to explain this into the new proposal. Project results are indeed expected to make a clear contribution to the realization of relevant urban, regional, national, and European transport policy objectives, and they should also help cities or urban resident communities, business, institutions, and so on to make the most use of new development in urban mobility. So it's very important to indicate what will be the impact, the expected impact, the potential impact of your project on urban mobility. Of course, this is a call for research and innovation, and it's very usual in the research and innovation. Projects should indicate how they are positioned with respect to the state of the art, and they are also expected to explain how they complement and will help to go beyond all ongoing or earlier European, national, regional research and innovation activity in the domain or in the subject they would like to explore. Not just your own activity, of course, but state of the art, international state of the art in the domain. Now, who can apply? The call is very open to a very large set of type of entities, from municipalities to citizen representative, research organization, of course, companies, NGOs, regions, cities, and consumer. But you have to be very careful about that. Indeed, I must emphasize here that not all funding agencies can find all these types of partners. So please check. There is a table at the end of the call text, a table that is a table 2 on the Annex A that indicate for each funding agency if it supports or not different type of entities like cities, like companies, and so on. And if you have any doubt about that, please contact your funding agency in order to see if it's possible or not. And it's very important because it's a point about eligibility of the project. Indeed, a project consortium consists of at least 3 eligible applicants. You must be 3 different partners from 3 participating countries. So I will show you after that the list of countries that are involved into the call. So it's very important to have these 3 eligible applicants from 3 different countries. And here, eligible is an important word because eligible means that it's an applicant that is eligible for funding. And in some cases, for instance, cities are not eligible partners for country, even if the country participates there is a funding agency in the country participating to this call for proposal. So you really have to look carefully about that issue and to be sure that you have at least 3 eligible applicants from 3 participating countries. Of course, this does not mean that partners that could not be directly supported with the money we have cannot be member of a consortium, but if they participate, they must come with their own money, they must secure their funding from other sources, and they must be able to prove that they will have the financial capacities to do the task they are involved in. It's very important also to indicate for these partners that are not eligible for funding, that are from one country that does not support this kind of partner, or that are from a foreign country, a country from a third that is not involved into this call for proposal, they really need to show in the proposal, in the pre-proposal, in the proposal, that they have the means, including the financial means, to participate and to do the activities that they are supposed to realize. So here you have the list of countries and partners participating to the call for proposal, but you also have it in more detailed presentation of that in the call text, so I will not comment a lot about that. Just let you see. So I remind you that you have to check carefully the Annex A, where you have the description of each of the partners there, and also the table 1 and 2 in this same annex that describe the budgets that each of these funding agency has devoted to this call for proposal, and also the kind of partners that they may support in this call for proposal. And you also have some rules about funding for each of these agencies, because actually what is important to understand here is that it is the national rules that apply, or the funding agency rules that apply for funding. So this means that you will have to conform with this funding agency rules in order to make your funding demand. If you are successful and are selected to be funded, you will after that become a member of the JPI Urban Europe communities. This means that you will be one of the projects that we support within this framework. This means also that you will be also engaged into activities that is organized at the level of the JPI Urban Europe community, namely program seminars, for instance, but we will also invite you for the dissemination of results and so on. So it's important also to consider that if you are selected and funded within this call for proposal, there is also a requirement during the follow-up phase of your project to be involved into all these kind of activities. And this is something that you should be committed about. Just to remind you other upcoming call activities, there is a matchmaking webinar next Monday where you can present very briefly your idea of proposal, and also can send message to the other participant if you need to find some other partners. And we have also